What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Thank you for checking out Friedman Media. Just trying to make sure everything is straight here, you know. I had to turn something around a little bit. My guest is being held up just a little bit, so I was trying to delay it as much as I could. I didn't want to come on here cold without him, but they give you a time frame that you got to abide by, and if you don't abide by the time frame, they'll kill your stream and shit. And I don't have any control over that. So I appreciate you hanging in there. But we got actually a really, really good cast. We got a really good cast. I'm stop saying it. I already told y'all. I'm going to stop saying that bullshit. You know what? It ain't about tooting my own horn, but I'm going to stop being humble with this shit because I've been humble for so goddamn long that I think motherfuckers just think I'm simping out here. So I'm not going to be humble no more. I know I got some fire ass content. I know what the fuck I talk about is real, and I know it needs to be heard. So there ain't no way for me to fucking fake the funk anymore. I know I'm right. I know my shit is correct. And if you want to challenge that, pull up. I always let a motherfucker know he can always pull up if you want to challenge anything that I'm saying out in this bitch, because my intentions are always golden and my shit is always real. So let me just get that little bit of a disclaimer out there. I put the disclaimer out there because I don't know if we're going to have some copyrighted material that we're going to talk about and have to put up on the screen today. So I want to put that out there because they taking people's streams down. They saying people trying to infringe on people's copyrights. You know, they fuck with you if you play 18 seconds of a goddamn 50-year-old song, talking about you trying to get money from it, talking about 347 countries identified this song, and that, fuck all that. Fuck all that. Whatever happened to free speech? You know what I'm saying? Whatever happened to free speech? See, now they trying to make $1 off of every motherfucking thing. But the one thing they can't make $1 off of is me. They can't make $1 off me. All right. Now we can make $1 together. That's one thing. But you're not going to make $1 off me. I have no problem with breaking bread with you, but you're not going to break bread and then give me the crumbs, bitch. Fuck all that. So I appreciate everything that everybody's done and told me what to do and put the disclaimers up and all that shit. Yeah, I'm going to keep from getting my shit taken down by following formatics because that's what I do. I'm a real broadcaster in this bitch, you know. That's why I'm trying to get this shit as tight as I can, because I was just so goddamn used to just sitting down right in front of a microphone and just talking and having everything made for me. Now I've had to make the shit up myself. So you got to understand where I've come from working in a big ass conglomerate and working for their radio studio to having to build my own motherfucking studio. It's a big difference. It's a big difference, you know, and we're going to get better. We're going to get, you know, motherfuckers worrying about my shine right now. You don't need to be worrying about my shine. You need to be worrying about the motherfucking content. And if I'm kicking the reel, then you need to be sharing this bitch. First, you need to be liking it. Then you need to be sharing it. And then you need to be talking to your people about what I'm talking about. But no, y'all motherfuckers keep going and looking at Hassan Campbell videos and shit. Fuck all you. I don't give a fuck. Keep watching the twerk videos. Keep watching the Karen videos. Keep watching shit that ain't going to help your motherfucking family move one iota. But I'm waiting for Brother Dale to get up in here. And I get notification that he's coming through. So he's just got to navigate to get into the room, and then we'll get started. But yeah, you know, it's all good. Understand that I am on YouTube. Understand that I am on Facebook. I am not on Haps today. So if there's anybody that's looking for me on Haps because they find me on Facebook, I am not on Haps today. Haps could not accommodate what I needed to do today. So we are going strictly with YouTube and Facebook. And I believe it gets a link sent to Twitter. I'm not really sure. We'll send one out a little later. We'll spread this information around, because what we got to talk about, being able to protect the Black family, that's some real shit. It's some real shit to me. I mean, I got a Black family. I need to be able to protect them. So I want to make sure that Brother Dale is able to pass on his expertise to everybody today. So it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be a good thing for us. So I'm just trying to make sure that I don't miss him. If he's texting me or anything, but right now it looks like it's just me and a few people that are in here right now. Peace to the YouTube family. Peace to all that new family that I got over on Sunday. I'm going to keep thanking y'all, because y'all been riding with me every cast I've had. Everybody that met me on Sunday, they are still rocking with me. It looks like the brother is almost here. I guess he's walking from the green room right now, and he will be here shortly. Let me see if I can add him to the screen. I am a novice at this. I tell you, I don't profess to be no expert at this. I'm old and I am analog. Let's see what we got. There he is. There he is. All right, Brother Dale, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, good deal. So let me get rid of this music. I just had a music bed there to make me feel like I'm still a DJ or something, but I don't need all that with you today. So, Brother Dale, I just want to introduce you, because we did do a stream, and I've explained this, to the 6-7 people that watch me on a regular basis. I've explained this to them. We did do this stream. I think we did maybe 2.5 hours that day, but it didn't come out quite the way we wanted it to come out. And I think because you and I are such talkers, we got into some things that probably just weren't where we needed it to be. And we focused on some good stuff. I'm not saying the content was great, but when we felt like it wasn't going to be what you needed and what I needed, I immediately took the stream down. I wasn't ashamed to do so, because I've actually gone back and gleaned to that stream, because there was so much education. And every time we talk or text, you send me so much information. And that's why I said today, hey, don't do that before we get started, because I will start talking about that stuff at the beginning. But my main focus, and welcome to Freedman Media. It's Mr. Dale Brown. He is the founder of Threat Management Center and the Detroit Urban Survival Training. Is that correct? Did I get all that right? Okay. I try to do everything off the dome. I try not to write things down to make them as organic as possible. But you are also not only the founder of Threat Management Center and the Detroit Urban Survival Training, you are also a published author. You are also a motivational speaker. You are also, obviously, from what I've been reading, you are also a big help to the Detroit Police Department, seeing that you apprehended some criminals before the DPD got there last weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you're a father. You're a man, and that's what drew me to you when we first met. And I think we probably met years and years ago, knowing that I was taught by your father. The late great, Mr. Bob Brown. He taught me more about life than he did about baseball, even though he was a baseball coach for over 30 years, I believe, at Ann Arbor Huron. He taught me more about life and how to be a man. So, I still show reverence to your father. But you're just a real cat, and you deep cat. You're just not one of the people that I have 10 minutes to talk to. I need 2-3 hours to talk to you every time I talk to you. So I know we got about 60, 70 minutes today, because you got to get back on the grind and do your thing. But I want to talk to you. But before we get into my questions and some of the videos that I want to show people today with you in them and training folks, where did all this come from? How did you become the guy that was meant to protect people, to de-escalate situations? Where did all that come from in the mind of Dale Brown?
Well, it all came from Ann Arbor, because
okay.
Going up the hard streets of Ann Arbor, it's so tough in Ann Arbor that I had to.
The mean streets of the deuce.
You don't know about that.
So after growing up in Ann Arbor, college, military?
Yeah, I was, I went to martial arts, lots of martial arts schools, but I went to a little bit of college, not enough to mean anything.
Okay.
Definitely not enough to believe what is being taught.
Sure.
won't go into that today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I was in the military. I was an airborne paratrooper. I learned how to jump out of airplanes and helicopters and how to overcome fear.
Okay.
What I took from the military was my inability to feel fear about things that I've committed to. And so that's why I appreciate not being money motivated. I'm motivated as a result of the military. And I will say that that planned out, and that really helped me in my business life.
Okay.
Motivated by the mission, not by money.
Right.
And then I was a private investigator when I got out of the military. I learned a lot about law. So how law is applied, how it applies to your situation, your conditions, and how the legal system actually works, not what it says.
Okay. So
I use that to create a system, because when I saw in Detroit was, as you know, growing up in Ann Arbor, we saw the news.
Right.
We all have family or know people in Detroit, but we just thought, you know, what the narrative was is that Detroit is this place of dystopian existence. It's horrible there. The people are, you know, essentially either criminals or supporting criminality in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came to Detroit, I had that mentality. I believe that there may be some good people, maybe a couple good people, but everybody, they're basically criminals or criminality oriented.
Okay.
I really believe that, and when I came to Detroit, and what I found though in real life was the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of people in Detroit are just people. They're trying to live life. They go to work. They go to school. They're not involved in criminality. They don't support criminality in any way, shape, fashion, or form. In fact, they fight against it every day.
Right.
Then I found out that they don't have anyone to help them because law enforcement is not the same thing as prevention of violence and crime.
Right.
It can prevent violent crime in certain conditions, but primarily what it does, law enforcement as an institution, it enforces laws against people that have already broken the law.
Okay. And
that does not help you if you're trying to raise a family or run a business.
Right.
Okay. That will not help you in the short term. It helps you in the long run. Some criminals are not here anymore.
Right.
They've either been, killed by police or incarcerated some period of time. But that does not help you not be a victim of violent criminals by definition.
Right.
One is what you thought you had and what we had in Ann Arbor. And Ann Arbor, I can tell you, I never knew a single person that was murdered. I never knew, not saying there wasn't any, I'm saying I didn't know. In Ann Arbor, I don't know gangs that weren't affiliated with the University of Michigan. I'm not saying there weren't a gang, but I just didn't know of any.
Right.
The worst thing I ever heard of was a fight at roller rink at Roller World.
World of Wheels. World of Wheels.
That's our gang headquarters. And when YBI or somebody with the fur coat, fur lining on the coat, come to Detroit, will come from Detroit to Briarwood. That's when we have fear. I forgot what they call those guys, but we were scared of those guys at Briarwood Mall.
Sure.
Oh, that's all I do. So when I came to Detroit, I found out it's regular people, man. It's just regular people who need safety. We don't have it here.
Right.
There's no one providing safety. And safety is what keeps you alive, what keeps you safe, what keeps your property safe.
Right.
But go to sleep at night knowing that you'll be able to go to school tomorrow. And when you come home, your things will be at your house. And you don't worry about people home invading you. I never, ever thought in a million years in Ann Arbor someone would home invade me. I never heard. I just never, it was never even a concern.
Right. We left our doors unlocked back in the day. I mean, we didn't lock doors a lot of times just because we were just that comfortable in our existence. And sometimes we didn't always have a lot, but what we had, everybody had the same amount. If you lived in a single family dwelling neighborhood, everybody pretty much had the same stuff. If you lived in subsidized housing, everybody had the same stuff. So you really didn't go around stealing from other people because you pretty much all had the same stuff. Whereas you can live in these same type of neighborhoods now, and one person, they might be a business owner, this, that, and the other, and they're a target. And these other people, they're struggling to maintain their mortgage, this, that, and the other. And their kid, it might be their kid that gets strung out on something. Next thing you know, he's crawling through your window. You think this kid has the same thing you have. Well, his family might because they live in the same neighborhood, but he's strung out. He's got a whole nother purpose in life. So we dealt with stuff like that, but we really didn't have to where we had to feel unsafe. I just never, never felt unsafe in Ann Arbor. Well, not one bit.
Had right there. That is a real Ann Arbor thought process.
Yeah, I never felt unsafe.
None of that. Yeah, I know, but none of that you just stated is related to violence or crime.
Right.
If it was, then Ann Arbor would be the crime haven of the world, because there's more drugs in Ann Arbor than there is in Detroit for sure. There's more wealth disparity in Ann Arbor than there is in Detroit. There's more strung out people in Ann Arbor. Probably just as many strung out people in Ann Arbor as in Detroit.
So you're trying to make people hate you just like they hate me, because I try to tell people, like, just because it's Washtenaw County, it's no different than Wayne County. Like Ann Arbor and Ypsi, I know people think that there is a huge disparity there, and it's not.
No, the
blacks, yeah.
The difference is in the propaganda. The people are the same people.
You right.
know people that move from both places.
Right.
The difference is the police in Ann Arbor were fixated on pulling me over and giving me one or less tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Not the European American kids I went to school with. Look, one of my guys was dealing weed. He never got caught. And if he did, they'd take his weed. That's it. There's no arrest.
Right. There's no arrest.
Thought he was a European American I grew up with in Ann Arbor. Thought he was Dukes of Hazzard. He used to run from the cops just because they were cops.
Right.
They would chase him, knock him off his motorcycle, and just take him home.
Mm-hmm.
There's no felony. There's none of that. I came to Detroit. The African American police officers are centered on arresting African Americans for having a joint in the car. And what they would do is arrest all 4 people in the car for possession of an illegal controlled substance.
Yeah.
Felony. All 4 kids for one.
Right. I get it.
In their pocket. Don't let it be a gun in the car. Every kid in the car is going to be charged with a gun. Don't let it be a stolen car from the auntie. Somebody took their auntie's car. Mm-hmm. Now every kid in that car is getting charged with grand theft auto, and
right.
The kid took it from his aunt without permission.
And you're ruining lives as you write those cases up. You're ruining lives, and they know that. So, on the back end of that, after going through the penal system in whichever way you have to go through it, probation, parole, whatever afterwards, now your life is directly affected because you can't get a job because you can't pass a background check and you can't do all these other things. It was really got some light there. You got some light there. There is light. And it was a situation where I didn't know how detrimental being caught in a raid, which I was not the target. My father was actually the target. I had no idea how detrimental having a joint in my back pocket would be to me until years later. I mean, and we're talking, I said a joint, not a bag of weed. I didn't have a bag. I had a joint.
Yep.
And it was crazy because I was a part of the commission of a drug raid. They use that as, what do they call it, contraband, whatever, and I'm thinking to myself, this ain't what you're here for, and I went down for it. And the crazy thing was I had a pistol under my seat because I delivered food from time to time still at my restaurant, and I had a pistol under my seat. And, I only had it because I was trying to be cool. I was in Ann Arbor. I mean, fuck, my restaurant was in Carytown. I never really was threatened, but I had a pistol under my seat. And they took the pistol, never got a gun charge because they knew it was some bullshit, And I knew the gun was actually registered to my cousin. And he said, I can report it stolen. And I was like, nah, you report it stolen and I'm fine with the motherfucker. Just don't do nothing. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't gonna catch nobody on this bitch. I just need something if a motherfucker fucks with me out here. They know I carry cash. So whatever. When they found the gun, they literally didn't do anything. I mean, no gun charge. One of the guys put it in his back pocket. I never saw the pistol again. It was a little 25, whatever. I never saw the gun again, but I got charged. It's still on my record to this day. I tried to go get it expunged a few years back, and the judge I hadn't even got my feet under the podium. And he was like, denied. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even get to state my case. And at this point, I'm a 48, 49-year-old man, whatever I was. I didn't get to state my case. And it was just, so now they say they got all these expungement programs. I've thought about doing it, but, it's really just for my peace of mind. I mean, now it doesn't really stop me from moving out here. But it hung over my head for years. I got denied housing, got denied jobs. It was kind of fucked up just because I had a marijuana charge less than 3 grams in 1993. Yeah,
right?
it's crazy.
It's
They
great.
killed a part of my future. Didn't kill all of it, but they killed a part of my future. But we can talk about stuff like that all day.
A better way to look at it is they what they did was they helped you make different decisions, man. The way to think about it is this: that all those negatives actually forged your way. You know,
Yeah.
And without the negatives, you would have been a different person, different place, and
Absolutely.
better place.
Absolutely. So what I really want to get into today, because you know the times that we're in, and you got me to the point where now I call myself a freedman. I call myself a freedman because you told me I wasn't black, so I had to study on that, and I was a person of African descent, this, that, and the other. I was like, but I settled on freedman because I got tired of calling myself a descendant of slavery. Right. Or descendant of slaves. So, as a freedman,
well, you're actually,
go ahead.
You're actually descendant of both the European that named you.
Yes.
Your family didn't pick up name. Your face, your DNA is European. Your
right.
Traditions, your culture, your education is European. Unfortunately, Eurocentric, but it is what it is. You still think there was discovery of some place where people live. That's a Eurocentric model.
Right.
Let that go if we're going to move forward as a society. Not just as Afro-Europeans. We have to understand that freedmen owned Africans. Over 100,000 enslaved Afro-Europeans were being bred, tortured, raped, and sold by other people that were Afro-Europeans. That's what freedom did. It defined you as a person who is free and had the rights to own other Afro-Europeans, mulattoes, octoroons, quadroons. And the reason why that's important is because you can't really do business as a color.
Okay,
I don't want to do color business.
Right.
I do business. I do business for whoever you are.
Right.
If you're a positive professional person, I will work for you. I don't care what your skin color is. If you're a bad person, I'm not going to take your money. I'm not
exactly.
If you do negative things to families, if you are inappropriate to people, I don't care what your religion is, what your culture is, what your skin pigmentation, lack of pigmentation, or abundance of pigmentation does not make us friends.
Absolutely.
You can be my enemy or you can be my friend based on your behavior, not lack of pigmentation or your abundance of pigmentation.
Right. And I get that. I get that wholeheartedly because I've always been blamed for being, and I don't really consider myself a unicorn, but I've always been able to maneuver around different factions of people. And I know that there's others that can't. I get it. But, not only have I been a black businessman, but I let that go. I don't go into a business saying I'm a black businessman. I'm a businessman.
Right.
I know, and this is we're talking about my life here. So that's the way I was looked at. I'm a businessman. Now, when they see me, they're obviously going to see the obvious. Now, what they take from that, that's up to them. Because most people that saw Shannon McFall and thought that Shannon McFall was coming, they thought it was a white girl with freckles. But when I showed up and I'm a black man and I'm talking the way I'm talking, I've worked my way into rooms that I should have never been in, or they didn't feel I was qualified to be in, but it was because of the way I engaged, the way I was able to articulate with people. I'm not special, but I was taught how to handle business, not black business, but business.
You are as special as your customer base perceives you to be. So if what makes you special is your pigmentation, that's going to be fine until they find someone with better pigmentation.
Right.
So if someone darker than you is more black than you, therefore they get more business than you if they're looking for a blacker business.
Right.
And I don't know why or how speaking ignorant Eurocentric English from peasantry off of the side of plantations became black talk. I'm not sure how that happened.
We had a very good dialect as we learned the language of this land. We had a very good dialect. I don't know where all that broken English and bugged out eyes and shit like that came from.
Right. Well, you do know exactly where it came from. It came from where all of us learned it from.
Well, I know where it came from. I'm sorry. Yeah, I do. Right. Yeah.
And so my point is this: we never say that. What we say is that's black talk. So you're telling people that people have brown skin or pale skin, or even albino, if they have any African heritage, they're now black. If they're paler than Europeans.
Right.
Then they can have blue eyes, green eyes, blonde hair, doesn't matter. They still have African heritage, therefore they are a black colored Negro, mulatto, octoroon, quadroon, based on how old they are in this conversation.
Right.
And then your black talk means you talk ignorant. So if you can't pronounce letters, you add S's where they don't belong, peoples, and you do things wrong in this language, that makes the speech pattern black talk. Now, how is that going to be good for your, even if you believe that?
How did we get hemmed in on that, though? How come, who was around? Like, I mean, you know this more of a history, and I want to read a comment in the chat so you can answer that, because we got to get on to protecting black families. I'm not going to get out of this stream without talking about that. But what era was that when they really started breaking us down with our language? And I mean, we were always a well-dressed and a well-spoken people. Next thing you know, we've got cut-off pants with no shoes on. This is the way we were supposed to be out here in public and talking the way we talk and shucking and driving. What era did that really kind of come in? You know, I don't, because I don't know. I've never really dug into that history.
I actually looked that up recently. That's funny you said that, because I was wondering the same thing. And essentially, I break it down like this, looking at it from a sociological standpoint. And that is that at some point, the Afro-European was taught that what makes them less European is to be less kept, less professional looking. The more professional you are, the more European you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's completely not true.
Okay,
that's how you disassociate someone from excellence.
Got it.
That excellence is something you don't want to be.
Got it.
You know, clean is what you don't want to be.
Right.
Up around your waist is what you don't want to be, right? So what you do is you create an idea, and then you sell that idea, and you also monetize that idea. So imagine making music and making money off that music, showing values that are dystopian. Then people want to be that. That's why there's millions of people listen to grunge European music and listen to hate music and listen to sadistic music. There's millions of Americans that love that music. Of course, that's not the mainstream.
Right.
Grunge, satanic music artists, but they're out here and they make good money. They have good contracts. They're wealthy people. So those people don't represent the Eurocentric mainstream, because Europeans won't allow that. The European mainstream won't allow that. They're not going to let you see their children look inappropriate on TV on a massive scale.
Mm-hmm.
As allowing people to see certain people that are part of the competitive foundation of our society,
right?
The Afro-Europeans that are competing, it will be good to show them in a negative light and get them to believe that these negative attributes, for example, a big nose, dark skin, and bushy hair makes you African. That is not true. There are light-complected African tribes that have been there the whole time. They have no European DNA. The whitest people in the world come from Africa. And so my point in saying all that is this, that as long as we are allowing people to associate us with ideas and then say that's your idea, such as using an English word black to somehow describe brown people from Africa, right?
Right.
English word. Did you ever see Italians do that? Italians use Italian words. Greeks use a Greek word. Germans use German words. Why would an African use a European word to describe Africans as a color instead of just saying Africans? If you want to say your people, why would you not say my people of African heritage? Why would you say my people of a color that's not actually my skin color?
You break it down very, 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 very easy, and it's simplified once I hear it, once I ingest it, and once anybody ingest it. But that's not what we've been fed as a people over decades, over centuries. We've not been fed that. We've been fed this other garbage. Now, can you see the screen? Can you see Sister Shanna? Hey, Sister Shanna, for that comment. Can you see the screen on the bottom? There's a comment that says freedmen who had means bought their enslaved family members and others. It was not the same as white and Native Americans from the 5 civilized tribes enslaving, exploiting, and forced breeding people.
Some were freedmen that did that. That's true.
Yes.
That was not all they were doing. They were actually trading. They were just the same thing. They were doing a lot of the same thing. There were freedmen that were doing that. Absolutely. They were freeing their family members. One of the things that we need to study is reality. Did you know that in the War of 1812, the 6,000 African enslaved Africans, not slaves, but enslaved Afro-Europeans to be exact, as they were mixed over the years. So Afro-Europeans escaped to Canada. They didn't just create ice hockey, the game we call today ice hockey, but they also formed a British unit called regiment. And this regiment was 6,000 men of Afro-Europeans that were escaped enslaved Africans. They came back down to America, rescued their family members from the different plantations, and burnt down the first White House. before returning to 1812, before returning to Canada during the War of 1812, and then being sent to Trinidad, where they are now called Americans as an ethnic group.
I had no idea. I have never heard that before. You drop a nugget on me every time I talk to you, but I've never heard about 1812. So now I just put in I put in Google, I'll put in 1812 and it'll bring up all the shit that'll come up. But something like that.
Yes.
I mean, so is that why there's so many black, we're just using it to be concise, Canadians that are over there?
Afro-Canadians, absolutely.
Yes.
Or
wow. Okay.
We're very tan Canadians now. Yes.
Very tan. Yeah. I mean, and I had heard about the hockey. I heard we were in the first part of creating ice hockey. Is that true? I don't know the logistics of it.
It's an enslaved person's game. Think about 2 sticks and a puck.
We making a way out of no way.
Right.
We're making a way out of no way. I get it. I get it. Okay. So here's the thing. We right at 30 minutes right here. Yeah. Sister Shannon, thank you for that comment. And the next one that she brought up.
It was very important that yes, freedmen did buy their family members back and did free them. So yes, we need to talk about that too. That people use their freedom to free others. Absolutely. Right. We also use our freedom to go to war, to go to North, to get weapons, to get training, to come back. And this is the most beautiful thing. Came back to the United States and freed their family members. That is the greatest story ever.
Yes. Yes.
First White House, okay, that we built in the first place. Right?
I didn't know that. And I'm not about the violent part of it, but I'm just saying I didn't know that this isn't the first White House. I thought the White House was the White House. I didn't realize the first White House had been burned down.
Second White House. The first White House was burned to the ground. Okay, and they're both built by enslaved labor, though.
And Sister Shanna is saying, and she's asking, and hopefully, if you're able to bring up links, we can put links in. You can either text them to me, I can upload them, however we can get them. But if you can cite any sources, and then she says, please share any sources you can look up.
Go to Google, yeah, just go to Google, you'll find it all of that.
Okay. So here's the thing. I just want to.
What I do, so you know, and I know I didn't. My father, as you know, was a Black history teacher at Huron for 20 years. I learned almost nothing from him. You
told me that before. You did tell me that before.
Facebook, and then I go to YouTube. I do my own research, right? And I used to call him up and be like, "Dad, why did you tell me about this?" He's like, "What?" I was like, "War of 1812." He's like, "What?" I was like, the regiment. He was like, "Oh, the regiment? Yeah, they came back, rescued people." He was like, "Oh, no, I didn't know about that part." So there's a lot of knowledge that Eastern Michigan University Eurocentric knowledge base did not teach because it served the greater good.
I got you.
To hold the Eurocentric model, and that's what we have to let go. There is no Eurocentric model. That's all fake. If Eurocentrism worked, then World War I and World War II would not have occurred. Hundreds of millions of European Christians would not have been killing European Christians if, in fact, there was some kind of pass given for a lack of pigmentation.
Okay.
The War of 1812 would not have occurred. The 100-year war, which is 116 years between France and the French Christians and the British Christians, would never have occurred if skin color mattered. So there's no such thing as this idea that we were taught our identity is a color, and other people they would say their skin color is an identity color, but that's just for us, right? The Afrocentric people. But let's be Jews, Catholics, Muslims, atheists, pagans, and Orthodox Christians are not the same people. Okay? They never were, they never will be, and skin pigmentation does not matter to them. They will not do business together. They will not live together. They will not go to the same religious place together. They will not give fraternity to each other. They will not support each other in business. They don't care how pale. If you have blonde hair, blue eyes, you're a Muslim. If you have blonde hair, blue-eyed Jewish person, if you're a blonde hair, blue-eyed Catholic, a blonde hair, blue-eyed Orthodox Christian, they will not unify behind anything, even though they all have blonde hair and blue eyes in that family or in that company. It's not going to happen today. It never happened before. Okay?
Wow.
No Vikings ever decided not to kill another Viking tribe because they had blonde hair and blue eyes. Okay? There's never been peace in Africa right now. Mauritanians are selling Mauritanians right now. The Haratin are for sale, hundreds of thousands. In the Congo, kids and women and children are being tortured and enslaved right now, approximately 500,000. In South Sudan, the Christians are enslaving Africans. And in the North Sudan, the Muslims are enslaving even more Africans. So we're not talking about light-skinned people. We're talking about everybody has the same skin color.
Mm-hmm.
Some place there is a deviation in skin color that doesn't matter.
Right.
Color is not the issue. And we have to remember that colorism is part of racism. And in business, we cannot use it if we're going to run a professional business.
Sure.
Skin color cannot matter. And in survival, I assure you it doesn't matter. I went to Hurricane Katrina, and I use a multicultural community. My staff is made up of Christians, Muslims, atheists, all kinds of people, Europeans, Americans, Arabs, African Americans. We all work together. And I took a team down of volunteers to Hurricane Katrina the first weekend that it happened. Mm-hmm. What I can tell you is the Afro-Europeans attacked Afro-Europeans. The Europeans attacked Europeans, but not as much. And the European community band together within their community, not collectively, within their community.
Okay.
Group. And the Afro-European and Europeans in one community defended against the Algiers Point militia. Okay. They came together, both Afro-Europeans and Europeans, with weapons, protected their community and kept it safe from these domestic Eurocentric supremacist ethno-terrorists is really what they are. Ethno-terrorists.
Okay.
Terrorists, Algiers Point militia. You can look that up. Algiers Point militia. They're proud of killing 38 Afro-Europeans that were foraging for food and water. And they said they killed 38 in their own words. You go on YouTube and the guy's talking about it. They interviewed these people. And they also interviewed some victims who got shot in Algiers Point. So you have actual irrefutable evidence of these things occurring. And I was there weekend. What I can tell you is you have to form, and this is what I formed my organization for, urban survival rescue teams, people that care about protecting the people in urban communities, protecting the people, not the property.
That's a hell of a segue, because like I said, this right here, I just can ask you a question and I know you can go 20, 30 minutes easy on all of these things. The biggest thing for me that I see happening out here, and I speak on it on my cast, I don't feel that we are a protected class of people, much like Asians are. We know Asians are a protected class of people. We know Latinos are a protected class of people. We know.
Let's start with the first one, Asians. Asians hate each other. That's a fantasy. That's a Eurocentric fantasy. Asian is not a real thing.
Okay.
Like Koreans, and not all Koreans like all Koreans.
Right.
So North Koreans, South Koreans are not the same people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chinese and Japanese are not the same people.
Right.
Never going to get along. They never did get along. They hate each other right now. And all the other Asian groups are the same way, which we call Asian. They don't call themselves that unless you're talking to us Eurocentric people. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's be clear. It's hard to even have conversations about people from Spain. Spain is where you learn Spanish. If you have a Spanish name, that's where you're from. Mm-hmm. Latino, Hispanic means you're European. Mm-hmm. I don't know who got this idea that somehow you're brown. That's just victims of being raped by someone from Spain.
Hey, they call them black too. So, you know.
Listen, I don't know who came up with this foolishness. It's because you're European. European is your name. If you have a Spanish sounding name from Spain, that means that's European. That's not South American. That's not Mexican. That's not none of those things. Okay, all that's from Europe. Mm-hmm. Let's be clear. What your language is a tribal language from the people of those regions.
Right.
Not Spanish. Okay.
I get it. I get it.
So remember, Latin is from Latitia, which is from Rome. It's the Latin word for Rome. Latitia, Latin. Latin is what the Bible was written in the Catholic Bible. Okay. Latin root words, all in the Bibles. Latin. That means it's from Europe. It's European. It's not South American.
I can't argue with none of this shit because I don't know it. So I'm never going to debate you on any of this stuff. You know, and it's not to debate. It's just funny that you can come up with that information when I was literally going somewhere else. But once you hear something, you just have too much info, bro. You've got too much info, and it's like it comes out. That's why I said last time we did that stream, we didn't even hit to the topic. So I really got to go because you're 40 minutes in now. And literally, the funny thing is, I enjoy this more than what we're gonna have to talk about. I don't feel like I should be having to talk about Black Americans, as we want to just be common right now, Black Americans having to protect themselves anyway more than normal. But you know the detriment that has happened to us over the last several hundred years. But what's really happening to us out here, whether it be law enforcement or whether it just be being accosted in public, you see it because you're on the ground. And let me just start with that while I'm getting this video ready. What the hell happened over at the golf course in Detroit this weekend? Please explain that, and how did you get there before DPD did? Because that was strange to me. I'm like, there's DPD people that live in that subdivision. So how did you get there before the actual police department?
Okay, first of all, we're the cause. we call the police to the location. We're the security for the golf course.
You okay? So you had to let them know that the crime was they didn't know any other way other than you?
Right. We're the golf club.
Okay.
So
okay. See, I didn't know that was your client. I didn't know the Detroit Golf Club was your client. So you were already on the premises. Correct. Doing what you do. I got it. When I saw you talking to the brother at his house, at his door, I figured you had showed up and then you ran, I don't want to run that video because he put his phone number and all that stuff out there. So I don't want to do all that, but you were getting information. You sounded really like law enforcement. I mean, and indeed, obviously you have to act as such, I guess, but you sounded just like I would expect a police officer to sound, getting all the pertinent information and everything from them. But what happened? Why did it get so crazy out there to the point where, you had to jump into action?
The individual was either mentally ill and or on drugs or some combination of both. And he began to break into a gated area. First, we tried to talk to him. We tried to use de-escalation communication that we teach at our school and our training center. And the individual was not receptive to manipulation or persuasion. And then he began to get violent, started kicking, spitting, throwing rocks, spit on me, spit on my team members, threw rocks in our faces, and then went and broke into 2 houses.
Wow.
We called the police. The police showed up, and then we let the police know he was breaking into houses. And then the officer asked me to go and respond to the area where the second house was being broken into. So I went over there, secured the individual, and gave him to police officers.
Okay. Well, and you're there, but you're not everywhere, unfortunately, because that'd be really good for you and your family to be everywhere. So you're there, you get that type of job. Does that pique the ears of other golf clubs or other subdivisions that have golf courses? I mean, what would make somebody say, you know what, I need to call that guy? He was able to actually take care of this situation even before law enforcement got there. Does it work that way where you kind of get a referral based on because you did a good job there? No,
absolutely not. Cronyism, nepotism, and other kinds of isms. So first and foremost, nowadays is nepotism. So essentially, for example, we have a place in Detroit called University District. They have home invasions. They have crimes. There was a lady almost raped last year. A judge got shot in their community. None of the judges are shot in our community. None of the people are being accosted for rape. None of those things are happening where we're protecting people. Right. And I offered to protect their entire community for the same pay they're paying this security that they have right now.
Right.
And they still did not give us the contract.
Okay. You know what? And that's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know, that's because, and there's probably, okay. What do you think the reason is that you didn't get the contract? And then I'm gonna go right to this video.
Americans are in the community. These African Americans have families in the community. That African American is a retired police officer, and that African American lives in the community, and his family members are on the board. So as a result of nepotism, they will not allow him to lose that contract.
Okay, let me go to this video. I want to share this. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Dale?
The entire community is going to suffer from nepotism.
Incredible.
Yes. And guess what I had to do for a year and a half after the judge got shot? I told people that's not us, because our communities are so close. They thought we ran security there. So they disrespect. So imagine this: he fails, I get blamed.
Wow. Well, and hey, that's just status quo for our people. So what I want to do is I want to play the video. I want to get the video up. I want to share the screen, but I want to just let the few people that are in here with us today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a few videos. We're talking about protecting the Black family. Now, I'm not trying to negate anybody else's family, but where I see people that need protection is people that look just like me or look just like Dale. And, you know, we are being harmed at great numbers. It's not being talked about. And I feel that there is a need for us to go back to the grassroots of protecting one another. But first, it starts in the home. So if you can't protect your family, then you're not going to be able to protect your neighborhood. And you're not going to be able to protect your community. And you definitely can't protect anybody outside of that. So I want to go to the root of it. So the first video I want to bring up, it was actually labeled for family protection. So let me share this screen here. It's a short video. All of them are short, but I want Dale to be able to articulate it after the video plays. Give me one sec. And that was snazzy. That was snazzy. We'll talk more about that because I'm going to need commercials done. And I need quick stuff like that, quick hitting stuff like that to make it whatever I do. You know, I do other things, but I want to have all that. That was under 20 seconds. And you see so many different things in that 20 seconds. But can you break down just what that introduction video is and what you do out here with Threat Management Center and D.U.S.T?
D.U.S.T stands for Detroit Urban Survival Training. D.U.S.T is the acronym, and essentially that's my training center franchise. So I've created a franchise so people can actually own one. You know, our whole plan before the pandemic. The pandemic has put us, you know, it's knocked us off kilter and kind of delayed things. But our objective is to make it so people can have a Detroit Urban Survival Training Center in their community, no matter where they live in the world. And so you will have to come to Detroit Urban Survival Training if you want training that can help protect your family, to understand psychology, first and foremost, understand legally how to defend yourself, and have the physical skills in order to escape, control, or immobilize threat, and understand how to use weapons if necessary. But most importantly, we emphasize how not to injure and kill people. Our training is specifically designed to help people not injure and kill people. It's the only school in the world that specializes in anti-killing. So we have an anti-kill philosophy. So what I did was create a system to support not killing people. So you can say, I don't want to kill people, but guess what? Kids in colleges kill each other all the time, just in hazing incidents. Mm-hmm. That's how easy it is to kill people.
Right.
Kill each other all the time by accident. So without training, you're going to have not just these non-Floyd type situations, which are positional asphyxiation, which are accidents. There's lots of accidents of people dying where people are just being held down to the ground and dying, or in handcuffs, or just being held, literally held. And they're dying because people don't know what positional asphyxiation is. There's no education to preserve human life. I created an educational system to preserve human life by design. So now we're going to show you how to protect yourself, how to protect your family, and how not to kill people.
Okay. So, and when you say that, when you were going down your list of what you are set up to do, you said, and it makes no sense to me because I thought you had to protect yourself at all costs, but you said to how to protect your family legally. How can you illegally protect your family, and why is it important for you to legally protect your family? Because I figured protection, I mean, you know, you're doing what you need to do, and there's really no laws in protecting your family, but how do I protect my family legally?
That's why people are in prison right now. You called it senseless black crime violence. It wasn't. It was people protecting their family and their community. You just thought of it was that because that's your Eurocentric training. We've all been exposed to Eurocentrism in a way that's causing us psychologically to misidentify our entire societal infrastructure. So from from this senseless violence accusation, right? Senseless violence. There's no such thing as senseless violence. There's no senseless violence in any urban community whatsoever. Guarantee you 100% no senseless violence. If you wanted to know what it was, you should have asked. I did. And that's what I do. So I spent the last 26 years boots on the ground. I talk to the thugs. We call thug animals. Guys who go out and do violence and crime because that's what they like doing. But guess what they didn't realize is why they're doing it. Okay. I understand because I understand psychology by understanding human beings. So I had to learn about people in order to succeed at managing them. It's like if you're going to manage dogs, if you're going to manage horses, if you're going to manage anything, you have to understand its thought process. In order for me to understand humans, how to manage human beings, I had to forget about myself and focus only on how humans interpret.
So understanding the lack of resources and the lack of opportunities in neighborhoods, inner cities, urban areas, whatever we want to call them, understanding that and studying that for over 26 years, how can you come at somebody who doesn't know anything else but being of a lacking status, being of a bottom caste? How do you come at those people?
My friend, your opinion, your feelings, all of it is all Eurocentrism. Okay.
Sure. I don't know anything else. I ain't never been nowhere else.
No, I know. So let me share this with you. Okay.
Sure.
Some things you just didn't think about, but you will think about it and you'll realize what I'm saying is true. All of your worst criminals, all of them came from people of means. Jeffrey Dahmer had two Christian parents, and he ate people. You don't know a thug that ate people. He was good in the military. He shared stew with his Afro-American neighbors. He was sharing. He was handsome. He was a weightlifter. He was an athlete. He would go to the nightclubs and pick up the hottest chicks if he wanted chicks. But he liked to eat brown males and one Asian boy. Now, Jeffrey Dahmer was one of the worst human beings. But guess who else was? The professor from University of Michigan, the U.N.O.T. bomber. The U.N.O.T. bomber tried to bomb a plane. That plane was a United Airlines plane. That's why he was called the U.N.O.T. bomber. He wore a hoodie and glasses. He was wealthy by current circumstances, the current ratings, right? Social economic ratings. He was a professor at University of Michigan, highly intelligent. He bombed people for 20 years. You don't know someone who killed 20 people, killed people for 20 years by bombing them. You don't know anyone like that. There's never been an active shooter from any hood, not one. You don't know of any active shooter that went to any school, any church, any college, and tried to kill everybody in there. That never happened. Mass active casualty shooter. You never had one from any urban community, not any gang, not any Bloods and Crips. That never happened. What you did have is individuals who shot at a group and didn't almost kill almost anybody in most cases, or they did one person, two people. And that's usually a rival gang or tribe against another rival gang or tribe. Or more often than not, you know what it really is? Revenge. Someone raped your sister, your mother. You know who did it. You're told who did it, and there's no evidence or nobody cares to get the evidence. So guess what I found out people do in urban communities? They go get a gun and some cousins, and they go get revenge. And since they're not good at it, guess what they do? They make mistakes. They go to the wrong house. They shoot the wrong house. That's why they call it senseless violence. It's not senseless. They were trying to avenge a rape, a robbery, a killing. It's called street justice. It's the American way. Our country was built off of getting justice for those unjustly treated. Okay, so let's be clear that these fantasies we have are all wrong. It's the axioms. You already have an axiom. How do the people that are poor, blah, blah, blah. How do the people poor, blah, blah, blah. I went to poor churches. Guess they do. They give you chicken for free. They don't even charge you. Okay, I went to poor churches where everybody.
Why you got to go to chicken? Why did that have to be your first thing? You went to chicken. They give you chicken. It's a pacifier for us. It's crazy. It's like, what the fuck?
There's lots of chickens out in the country. Here's the point. Everybody in the church was related. They're all cousins. Right? And so my point is, I didn't see no poor people try to steal from no poor people. That's a fantasy that they created in your mind. That's an axiom. Bernie Madoff stole more than all the poor people in the history of America combined. Bernie Madoff, one guy who was not poor. See, your perspective is demented, right? Our perspective is demented. I'm undementing mine. I've been undementing it by using facts. So once I looked at the facts, here's an example of how demented I was. I was teaching some law enforcement officers, some federal agents, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go check my facts right quick before I talk about whether it's young African-Americans that are killing cops or older African-Americans killing cops, right? Okay, because I already know, it's got, these gang members are killing cops like crazy.
Right.
That's the news, right?
Right.
So what did you think it was, older or younger?
I would think older. You said killing cops. You said killing cops, not cops. Older. Yeah, I would think it'd be older people.
Older. Which city? Where part of America you thought they were getting killed in?
You talking about cops?
Yeah.
The middle part, not the West Coast.
I thought it was Chicago. Then I thought New York. What do you think?
No, I would think somewhere in the middle part of America, and I'm not really good geographically. I don't know why, but the middle part, like the more rural areas where just more outback type shit. I would think because it seems like police just have
Americans going out there killing folks.
Huh?
You thought it was young? You thought it was older African Americans?
Oh, not older African Americans. I thought you were talking about. No, okay. I misread the question. I was literally trying to get your next video up, so I missed the African Americans. Okay.
I said I knew it was when I was teaching some law enforcement officers.
Got it. I'm sorry.
Database.
Right.
I don't know if it was older blacks or younger blacks, right? As we call colored Negroes. I want to know if it was older or younger ones, right?
Right.
Because I know it was black because I watched news.
No, I would definitely have to say younger, and I would probably choose New York because I've
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But the majority of cops are dead in the South, in rural country towns where they don't respect law. They never did respect law or law enforcement officers. Country people, especially down south, do not like any law enforcement officers on their property telling them what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they shoot. And they shoot well.
Yeah.
Okay. So I felt stupid when I did my research and found out that cops in the cities aren't dying more than cops in country towns.
Right.
And I was so ignorant. I actually believed, number one, as an axiom, I just knew it was a black person's killing most cops because I kept watching TV and I looked it up on Google. Guess what you got to do? Because guess what they're doing? They're society's obscuring the pictures of the killers of cops that are European.
Mm-hmm.
So when you Google cop killer, you're gonna see all these black faces pop up, right?
Right.
But that's not the majority of cop killers.
Right.
You have to go do your research. And guess what they did to make it look like there's a higher that there's a closer number of blacks in prison with whites. So guess they did. They called people that are whites non-white Hispanic.
I just saw that. I was doing some statistics and I was listening to a podcast and he broke it down. Non-Hispanic whites or Hispanic whites. Then he had non-Hispanic whites. Then he had whites.
Right. And it's all bullshit. If you see the guy do a crime right now, the police would say white man running down the street.
Right.
They wouldn't say non-white or white and white, non. None of that. It would be, and how did you figure that a person that has an African American two generations back in their family is still black?
Yeah.
How at what point do you become non-black? Albino? 80% of albinos are from Africa. They have 2 brown parents, so they're not blacks when they go to prison.
Yeah, they're black and motherfucker. I mean, they're not labeled as such, but yeah, they black and a motherfucker.
Definitely be black. But here's my point. You can't use colors to accurately understand the past, the current conditions, or the future.
Okay.
So when you think about HBCU, what does that mean? It means nothing. Historically, black college university means a European. Many of them were built by Jews, but also by enslavers of Africans before emancipation.
Okay.
They had children there. They wanted their children to go to these schools. They couldn't go with European kids, but they can go to these schools, Johnson, Smith, Washington. They can all go to these schools they call HBCUs. Okay? That was not built by a person. Tuskegee supposedly is built by an Afro-European person, right? Mm-hmm. But I would say that's probably not accurate. And if you look at the actual financial origins of things, my big point is this: skin color is not relevant to reality, where it's being forced upon us and it never was relevant in Europe or in Africa, and it's never been relevant here. It's an excuse.
Okay.
So they lynched Italians when Italians went to vote, but they didn't tell African Americans that. The Africans were never told that, by the way, large groups of Italians were also lynched.
Okay.
They never told us anything about others. In fact, they never even told African people that they call Afro-Europeans, they call black colored Negroes. They never told them that Jews and Catholics and Irish and British and the Protestants and the different, they never even said they don't get along. No one knows that in the African American community. They're like, they're white people. Yeah. Do you know that the Italians and the Irish and the Greeks they don't cohabitate. They don't coexist. They don't have the same businesses. They don't do business together. And if they try to come in their neighborhoods, they kill them. Okay. So they didn't tell us that. So they're like, well, white people get along. No, they don't. There's no Europeans getting along with other Europeans outside of their tribe. That's a new American thing. And my thing is this: we need to understand that segregation worked. We don't have the massacres now. We don't have those enclaves, what they call race riots. We don't have those because segregation worked. Afro-Europeans and Europeans are now living and working together more than ever. That's why it's more peaceful than ever before. If you don't know it's more peaceful now, it's because you didn't study our history.
Right.
You know that there was many Tulsa, Oklahomas. You don't know that many of them had no survivors.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Those massacres were real. They could happen again if we were separated.
Right.
You don't have the numbers. People that want to talk about fighting, you don't want to fight a larger group of people. You don't have the numbers. Then, of course, the people would have to be an actual people. What makes you a people is land, language, religion, and your name is part of all of that. That's what your tribe is, not your lack of pigmentation or abundance of skin pigmentation.
Right.
You will never make a group off of pigmentation. And of course, Afro-Europeans definitely can't, because we have every conceivable phenotype imaginable within the Afro-European community in the Americas.
All right, and before we go to this video, because you can run another 10 on that easy. What do you think, just really quick, what's it going to take for us to figure this all out as a people that's on this soil, Native Black Americans? What's it going to take for us to figure it out? And then I got to go to this video because I want to talk about kids. You know, I'm about kids, I'm about my grandkids, I'm about my children. Protection of children and children being able to protect themselves is really important to me, because I believe that there is a oncoming bully class. I'm seeing it more and more where kids are being treated with out of character behavior by other individuals or other ethnicities, whatever. And I believe that that's going to continue because, as Sister Shanna stated earlier, we are not a protected class of people. We are not a protected class. So we're just right here in Michigan, where they cut the little black girl's hair. They cut her hair off and said it had nothing to do with race. Now, this girl ain't never cut nobody else's hair off.
No, I don't even care about anything they're talking about. If you touch a child's hair and you cut their hair without permission, that's against the law. Prosecution. Where's the prosecution?
Prosecution? She didn't even lose her fucking job. She didn't even lose her fucking job.
Dude, prison. I don't care about her losing her job. You can keep the job, but go to prison because you touched a person's child without permission.
That's what I thought would happen, but they didn't even fire her.
I don't care. Prison. So we got to stop we got to stop playing into this race or riot, all this fool. It doesn't matter. Do you touch someone's kid? Because if you touch someone's kid and cut them, that is child abuse, and you must go to prison. Keep this shit simple. The problem is we're not keeping it simple. We're getting caught up in subterfuge. That subterfuge is how but this is a race thing, or this is a sex thing, or just what's the law? Let's use the law.
What's the law?
You got right now.
Right.
You can't shoot unarmed children. Trayvon Martin is not legal. You can't kill unarmed kids. You can't follow them. It doesn't matter George Zimmerman was tan or not. And guess what I want next? I want people that have brown skin to be brought up so they can actually tell how they shot some unarmed kid and how they went to prison. Because that's what happens. When you shoot unarmed kids, you go to prison.
Mm-hmm.
There's no argument.
Right.
Okay? It doesn't matter what color the kid is.
You going.
What the adult is.
You going.
Unarmed kids, you go to prison. Now, if we just keep it simple, we can fix 9 out of 10 of our problems. The problem is we got subterfuge and we're using dishonesty a lot. So just be honest. When you said a certain color lives matter,
Right.
You didn't mean that. You meant even if your kids are light skinned, because you
Right.
do know that HBCU you couldn't go there because you too dark. I might be able to go there because I have a lighter brown, but I think it's just because it's light. Okay.
You got good lighting. You got good lighting.
Right. Remember, you had to be in order to go to HBCU, in order to be a part of the Divine Nine. You go look at the pictures yourself. Okay. We call them light, bright, damn near white.
Light skinned it. They was light skinned it.
It had to be. You had to be light skinned it because they didn't let you in for the brown bag test. Who's they? Us. It's us, Afro-Europeans. Okay. It's not them as in Europeans. It's only us. We were in charge of admittance. We were in charge of HBCUs. And yes, African Americans, Afro-Europeans wrote about this openly and talked about how stupid it is for the HBCUs to create Greek fraternities. Because I was wondering if I was the only one that thought of this.
Yeah.
How to create a Greek fraternity as an African person.
Yeah, well, okay. Once again, another can of worms, another 15, 20 minutes. Sister Sharon has been killing the chat, and it's great. She said many of the HBCUs are of the boule. You know, so they're of that boule bourgeoisie society.
Yes, and there's no future in that. There's no
hell no. They done rode us to where we are now, politically and everything around here. They done rode us to where we are now. We have no use for the boule bourgeoisies. They need to step to the fucking side.
What color is? When you say I'm black and I'm high yellow and I'm colored, I'm quattroon, I'm octroon, I'm a mulatto.
Right.
Do any of that.
Right.
Ruin everything. You ruin all truth. You ruin.
I got you. Well, here's some shit I cannot ruin, and it's talking about kids. I want you to be able to go into after we see this video, because I know you're about your kids, you know, being able to protect themselves. You protect your family, obviously, but we want to make sure the kids just aren't out here in the schoolyard, because they're not just fighting little Jimmy and little Becky and whatever. Our kids are being accosted by adults. Our kids are being
accosted by adults.
Our kids are being accosted. So where we need, and I don't know why we've been that chosen class to kidnap and rape and throw off a fucking bridge, but we are still that. We've been that for hundreds of years.
Listen, every crime that you're talking about happens to others, Europeans, by Europeans, a lot more. There's not one crime where the majority of in any way, shape, fashion, or form. Remember, not one category, not even close. So that means that means people being killed by police or by civilians. Okay.
Yeah.
All these fantasies are axioms that are from false information. It's called recency bias. It's all watching the news too much.
Okay.
That there is no such thing as all these things. Black on black crime that never existed. That's weird. That if you said that, then what would be white on white war? I mean, World War I and World War II would be white on white war. Civil War would be white on white war.
Right.
Come on, man. This is stupid. You can't use color schemes and make logical thought processes happen. It's not possible.
I got you. Here's this video, because I mean, this is where I need you, because you kick so much information out and I have absolutely no problem with it. But I swear I am not keeping you here 2.5 hours like I did last time. But this will be our second video. I'm still live right now. I'm going to have to hit you back. So, you know, those are people that don't actually watch the video, so they don't know I'm actually live on like 14 fucking channels right now, but no big deal. I love them still. I want to show this video, but I love the fact that you are developing training for children, because I just truly believe that where our children are in trouble is it's not with other kids in the neighborhood. It's not with other kids at school. It's protecting themselves from adults. So let me share this video, share this screen here, and so we can go from there. Before I get this started, is that your daughter?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if anybody needs to know, Dale's daughter can kick ass too. So just, you know, not just Dale, but he's teaching his daughter to kick ass too. Hold on one sec. So, so right there, and it was a situation where she wasn't trying to overpower him. Obviously, she can't do so. Right. She wasn't trying to do something that was outside of her physical realm. Right. So before you jump into talking about that, you taught her, because she's your daughter, and you teach other children what's the first thing that you got to get through to a child? Because that took discipline to have in her thought process to be able to work calculated. Now, I know it's a training video and she went about it methodically, and things could go a little bit differently in real life. But what do you have to do to a child to get that child's mind and that thought process to where they'll be able to act right once that happens?
Well, children, just like adults, we respond to stimulus subconsciously. So
Okay.
take people through an understanding of what you expect them to do, and then they will do it subconsciously. So if you don't train them, they subconsciously are going to fight, flight, or freeze logically. So the more training you have, the more likely they are to use what their subconscious believes is the solution to their situation.
Okay.
With children, what's most important is that they are exposed to answers, solutions, and different ideas to create safety. And one of them is not fighting. So we don't teach fighting. We teach survival tactics. So we teach anti-fighting. We teach you how to escape, how to control or immobilize the threat within 3 moves or less. So we don't teach fighting. Fighting is a concept of, punching, kicking, or, seeing what techniques work compared to someone else's ideas or something in conflict.
Right.
And fighting has a purpose of fighting. Survival has a purpose of survival.
Right.
So there's two totally different things, ways of thinking.
Okay.
And the most important thing with kids is to get them to understand boundaries and understanding human behavior and understanding, stranger danger is minimal, by the way. So leading cause of death for children is their parents, not strangers off the street. So,
what?
Yes. So what happens is the axioms you've been exposed to, man, which like stranger danger or watch out for people snatching your kids. The people that are killing their children are the parents. In this country, the leading cause of death for children is the parents. You can go to CDC and look that up. So that's why we have a CPS, because parents are killing their children all day, every day. So our training needs to center on how to escape, not necessarily focus on strangers, but just how to escape being held, right? We
have a lot of abuse in our homes. We have a lot of sexual abuse in our homes against our children. So movement that your daughter, that she had to deal with, that could come for an uncle, that could be a cousin, that could be a brother. Hell, it might even be your father.
Yeah, there's no difference between your children and any other colored people's children or non-colored people's children. So keep that in mind, man. The more you look at the humanity as a color scheme, the more it's confusing and diffusing, right? So you have to look at humanity as what it is, humanity.
Okay.
And the more you colorize it, the more confused it's going to be. And so imagine if you do have this right now. You have Europeans that are like, all these different colors are bad people.
Right.
People are people that lack skin pigmentation.
Sure.
Well, every KKK leader that's been assassinated got assassinated by someone that was also a member of the KKK.
Right.
The leading cause of death for all those ethno-terrorists is other ethno-terrorists.
Okay.
So the Black Panthers didn't go fight the KKK.
Sure.
The not Malcolm X, the Nation of Islam, they're never going to go fight the KKK. That's not what they do. They could. That's not what they do.
Right.
So the idea that somehow your skin color is some kind of connective tissue didn't work for European. Think about Germany. Think about Hitler, and think about these concepts, man. How are you going to compare pale Germans that are Jewish and pale Germans that are Catholic and act like somehow they're supposed to get along because they have the same skin color? That's not true. Christians in Russia, 20 million of them were killed by Christians from Germany.
Right.
They all have the same skin color.
Right.
Okay. So there was never a connection between skin color and people.
Got it.
The plantation, I guarantee you, if we got a real story, it was a horrific place, and the Afro-Europeans were not nice to each other, ever.
Right.
Because they're hungry. They're starving. Okay. Starving people don't care about skin color either.
Right.
They were actually starving. So one of the reasons why you don't run from plantation is, one, you're starving. Two, if you did run, everyone that knew is tortured, and everyone that you're related to could be killed and beheaded. Okay. So we have to stop using the programming we have to understand the world we're in, because it doesn't actually make sense. And what it'll do is it makes you feel inferior and ignorant if you try to use that idea, right? Like, why would you not leave a plantation if if you could just walk away, because the entire fence is 3 feet tall.
And I believe, to me, and I want to get to the next video, because I got 2 more that I want to finish with. But I believe what's worked for me in adopting the name Friedman. You still there? I don't know what. Something's happening.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. A little staticky.
Yeah.
I haven't changed anything. I haven't changed anything. All the settings have been the same. And I would hope by now somebody would have said something about the sound being off. They wouldn't have let us go 75 minutes with bad sound. Is there anybody still in here that can hear the sound? Is my sound still good? Peace to everybody that's out on the Facebook space. We are active on YouTube. That's so if you've left comments, I appreciate you. JT Free, of course. What's up, Sharice and Jason? I appreciate y'all checking us out in the middle part of the day. Queen Cosetta, peace from Little Rock. But I need to know if my sound is still good. Now that static went away. I'm not sure exactly what you did on your side, bro, but that static went away. But I haven't got anybody to tell me that that the sound is off, or I'm still showing I'm through the mixer. I'm still showing that I'm on. So let me let you get that right. Sister Shanna says it's good. The sound just started a few seconds ago. The sound just started. My audio or that static sound? Okay. Yeah, so that sound is gone now, Brother Dale. So get what you need to do right. And I want to cue this other video up. And Brother Dale is gone. His battery might have been going down. We'll get him back in here in a second. He had to vamp out last time like he had an emergency. For real. He had an emergency that he had to get out right in the middle of our cast, the one that never aired. And I respected him for it. Ooh, I ain't gonna be able to show all this. This is 7 minutes long. I thought that was gonna be a short one. Let me see if this other one is a little bit shorter. There we go. This is gonna be 30. This is gonna be a 30. Yeah. So we'll want this one. Whoa, some thunder out there. That's the first time it's actually thundered since I've been in this space. So it hit the building a little different than what I'm used to. But if everything goes dark, y'all know we lost power. So, but I appreciate it. Appreciate you, Pretoria. Appreciate your sister Shanna. Everybody checking in. Can you get whatever was left on the porch, please? Question mark. So Brother Dale is gone, and I don't know if he is going to come back. He gave us a lot of great info on both sides of the equation. His brother's pretty deep, you know. I mean, like I said, as far as that data goes, I don't know a lot of the stuff that he talks about. Bits and pieces, you know, I can chime in on that I know to be actual factual. Some of the stuff to be so far-fetched, and I'm glad he's able to give up some data, or just even say, hey, Google it. You know, that's all I did, because he's pretty modest with his shit. He don't be like, yeah, I read thousands of books. He'd be like, man, I Googled that, you know, and I read that. And the fact that his father was a history teacher for 40 years and shit, I mean, it's in him already. He just didn't learn it really at home. You know, he learned it on the outside and just being a man about the world. So I do appreciate him. for stepping in here. You know, like I said, we're approaching 80 minutes here, and I don't need to be on here any more longer than without him. I was going to run this other video about basically how to snatch a pistol from somebody in a tactical fashion, because sometimes if you're that close to the person and you got a chance to be able to do that, you know, you ain't got to just sit there and take it, you know, and he has a way of being able to break that down. I wanted to run that, and I wanted him to be able to break that down, but I don't want to put the video out there because I can't teach nobody how to take no pistol from somebody. I just make sure that I can get to what I need to get to before they can get to what they need to get to. That's all I can say. So we're going to give him a couple more minutes here, or maybe another minute or so, and see if he pops back in here. He has not texted me. I'm thinking that he had a device. The battery was going low. And even when you plug it in, if you asking it to do more stuff than just be on, it's not enough to get you back out of that desperate percentage point. I've been at like 10%, but I've been live and this, that, and the other, and it drains a whole lot faster than if I was just at 10%. My phone was just sitting somewhere. So I get it. We probably lost him here, but I appreciate everybody for being in here. Pretoria Afro, thanks for coming through again. Sister Shanna with keeping the YouTube chat room popping. It looks like Free kept the Facebook chat room popping. I don't know why she didn't come over to the YouTube space. We'll talk about that before. Appreciate you, JT. It was great information. We're going to get more from him. We're going to end up having to do another one with him. Appreciate you, Sister Angela. The sound is good. I appreciate it. But what we've got to do is we've got to take into account, I mean, we got people like this out here. And if we can even galvanize in Washington County, I can get Brother Dale to come out and do tactical training and things like that. You know, we got community centers, we've got churches, we've got rectories, we've got all types of stuff to where he can come out. He can do it outside. It's summertime. But, you know, we've got to be together as a people. If we want to really protect ourselves and protect our family, we got to be serious about it. You know, this ain't no janky shit. He can really teach you some de-escalation tactics and how to function out here and protect yourselves, whether you got guns or whatever at the house. This is just really on some, you know, get a motherfucker up off you and be able to get the help. Or if you got weapons involved, how to be able to take care of them weapons and handle your business. Or like you said, protecting your family legally. He wants to be able to show everybody how to make sure they get gun permits and do all this and shit. He believes in everybody being armed in some degree. So, you know, your kid might not be able to hold that Desert Eagle, but you can give them something that they can use as a weapon, and they come under, you know, some type of a costing. They can make sure that shit's right. But it doesn't look like Brother Dale's gonna make it back in here. So I'm gonna let y'all go. I love this info. He does not have a location in Detroit. I know the brother travels, though. I mean, you know, you get on his site and whatnot, and you see in the desert with tanks and all kinds of stuff. He does all types of tactical training all over the world. So I'll make sure that we get information for you, Pretoria Afro, because, you know, it wouldn't be a thing for Dale and his company to fly out. If you got some people that need to, you know, get trained, I'm sure he'd be honored to do so. And you guys work out the business details. You know, Friedman Media don't handle that for nobody, but just, you know, if there's a promo code, just put Friedman Media in it so he knows that you that who sent him. But I appreciate everybody being out there. And you know, if you catch this on the playback, appreciate you. You couldn't be here live, but at least you caught it. And you know, the information is there for you. You know, whether you want to utilize it or go for it, that's up to you. We ain't trying to force nobody to do nothing. I'm just saying, if it's not this, then what is it? One love.